What's up, guys? It's your girl Amarachi. So I'm just on here real quick to talk about Young, Famous, and African. This is season 3. I've only watched episode 1 and 2 and the first 5 minutes of episode 3, and I just want to get my thoughts out before I forget. I'm of the opinion that Annie is bitter. She is truly bitter, and her bitterness started off at Zari's wedding, episode 1. She had something to say about Zari's wedding. In terms of like her husband. Zari's husband is about 27 years old. I'm not really sure how Zari is. She's probably in her early 40s. So apparently she was making comments about that to the ladies. And I was just like, why? Actually, no, let's start off. So she's surprised that Annie invited her to her wedding because, as we all know from the previous season, Zari was not invited to Annie's vow renewal with Two-Face. I think that was like a few seasons past. And it's just like, so she's surprised. Zari also invited Fontana and Nadia. And if you remember last season, Zari and Fontana had like a little, they had like a little issue because of Diamond Platinums. Diamond Platinums, that's another topic for another day. So, but Zari invited the whole cast, everybody on the cast, to her wedding. And Annie has an issue with it because she's like, and that's another thing. Annie is so animated. The way she talks annoys me. I'm just like, it's like, well, I'm like, Annie, stop. So Annie's at the wedding. Apparently she's making comments. She made comments about the venue. She made comments about the husband, the soon-to-be husband. She made comments about being invited. And I was just like, Annie, it's not by force to come. Yes, you were invited, but you did not have to come. Yes, we know you came so you can have screen time. That's just what it was. But it's not by force. You could have said, you know what, girl, I wish you all the best, but I know me and you were not really like on talking terms right now. So I'm going to set this invitation out. But you chose to come and you're there making comments. And then even to the point that Annie gave a toast. Not a toast. She gave a speech at the wedding, and that speech, the editing, I don't know if it was the editing, but I couldn't even make out what Annie was saying during that speech. She was just like, well, she's so animated. And then Annie, another thing, for you to be so worried about the age difference, like, it's okay. Yes, granted, the age difference between them is jarring, but that's Zari's business. And then she's also talking about, oh, the boy is too young to be taking on 5 children. I'm just like, Annie, you have your own marital issues. Yes, you don't want to admit it, but everybody knows that Two-Face is not the most faithful husband to you. He's been accused of having children while you're still married to him. So why do you have so much energy? Why do you have so much like to say about someone else's marriage when your own marriage is like, the whole of Nigeria knows like your marriage ain't really like that Two-Face is just cheating on you up and down, allegedly. But come on now. And then Annie's like Annie's the type of person, she'll say something behind your back, and then when you confront her, she'll say, I'm not even gonna fight with you. I'm not like, she'll try to pretend like she's above it all. Annie, she's not. Annie gives me the persona like, okay, my husband is Two-Face. All you bitches need to bow down to me. And that's the thing. Nobody's bowing down to her on this show. So that's why because everybody cannot be the problem, Annie. You're getting into it with Fontana. I mean, not Fontana, got into it with Nadia. Got into it with Zari. Swanky. Who's next? Everybody cannot be the problem. Sometimes you have to be like, okay, you know what? In this friend group, I'm always getting into it with somebody. What is it that I'm doing wrong? Like, self-reflect, Annie. What is it that I'm doing wrong that's causing people to like, have issues with me? But no, you want to like blame everybody else for why you're having issues. And then, so she goes to, what is it called? She decides to call out Nadia at Zari's wedding. I'm just like, Annie, this is not the time, nor the place. Why are you doing that? So she decides to call out Nadia. Nadia didn't really give her the energy that Annie was looking for. So there was like there's a new lady on the show, and I don't want to butcher her name, so I'm just gonna call her Kay. So she had like an event. They all went, And then at that event, that's when Swanky wasn't in town, so he couldn't attend. But at that event, that's when Nadia confronted Annie. And of course, Annie's like, I'm not going to fight with her because I know she's going through I just know she's going through so much. But that child, that's another thing. She calls everybody a child. Like, Annie, you're not that old. You guys are literally in the same age group. Like, come on. I don't know. Annie's tiring. And then she always tries to act like she's above it all, but she's the one that starts the shit. And then when you confront her, she'll act like she's above it all. And then, so they get to the dinner in towards the end of episode 2. Well, now Zari has heard like everything that Annie was saying about her at her wedding, because the other guests have told her. And Swanky also heard about what Annie was saying about him to Fontana. So at Kaylee's Diamonds party, everybody decides to confront Annie. And then, of course, Annie can't defend herself. She goes, oh, Swanky, you're going to let them talk to me like that? I'm like, Swanky is not your bodyguard. Defend yourself. You have so much to say when these people are not around. Use that same mouth and defend yourself. Why are you? And that's like, Zari was like, yeah, Andale is not here to defend you. Swanky don't give a shit about you. So, like, you're by yourself, bitch. Like, come on. I'm sorry for cursing. But Annie is just, oh my God. And then another one, Fontana is just dumb. Because with her and this like diamond platinums, why are you even messing with diamond platinums? Why are you messing with like, this man is like giving you like all these like bullshit ass stories. And even in his confessionals, he's basically saying I'm just bullshitting her. And then I'm thinking, okay, she's not gonna fall for it. This girl literally falls for it. I'm like, girl, come on. You cannot be this dumb to want a man that don't even want you. And I'm so glad that Lewis is finally standing up for himself, because last year, Fontana was literally like using Lewis to play ball because you know that man liked her. But this season, Lewis said like, no, you're not going to talk to me like that. I'm not going to be nobody's punching bag. Even though I don't like it when men and women get into it, but I like the fact that Lewis stood up for himself and just didn't say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to get into it with a woman, because that's what Fontana's always looking. It's Fontana. I feel like she antagonizes Lewis, knowing that Lewis is not going to like say anything. But this time, Lewis said something like defending himself. And I was like, that you got to defend yourself. Like, come on now. Like, why are you talking to this man like that? But also, Lewis, on the other hand, stop falling for everybody new that you meet. I know you want to get, Lewis looks like he wants to get married. Actually, not look, he says he wants to get married. But it's not everybody that you meet is a potential wife. Like, vet them first. Stop always like trying to like wife up everybody you meet. But y'all, that's my little rant on Annie Dibia, because I'm about to like go continue watching the rest of episode 3. I've only gotten 5 minutes into it, and I'm like, wow, Annie, I just wish she would stop being so animated when she speaks. That's what I wish for. Will I get it? Probably no. All right, y'all, that's my little rant on Annie Dibia and the first 2 episodes of Young Famous in African season 3. As I keep watching, I'll come back and, if I have thoughts on anything else, I'll just come back and drop my thoughts here. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.